G'day mate, this is an informative video on the macroeconomic concept known as the business cycle. The business cycle is a graph that demonstrates how the national economy fluctuates, resulting in periods of boom and bust. Real GDP per year is shown on the y-axis and time is shown on the x-axis. The first slanted line represents economic growth as real GDP steadily increases at full employment over time. However, in real life, GDP constantly fluctuates. The green line represents real GDP following an economic boom, which is above the full employment line. This time period is associated with rapid job growth, increasing prices, increasing interest rates, and fewer social problems. The peak refers to the highest point of this inflationary period. The spacing between the green and black lines is an indicator as to the level of inflation. The red line represents real GDP following an economic bust, which is below the full employment line. This time period is usually associated with reduced job growth, lower interest rates, decreasing prices, and more social problems. The trough refers to the lowest point of this deflationary period. The spacing between the red and black lines is an indicator as to the level of deflation. Eventually, real GDP intersects with the full employment line, and everything is returned to normal for a brief period. However, the real GDP soon goes above the full employment line, and the cycle begins again. The term recession refers to the time between a peak and the next trough, and recovery refers to the time between a trough and the next peak. Together, they make up one business cycle, or the time between two peaks, two troughs, or two periods of full employment. Why does the economy fluctuate? Well, it fluctuates because retailers and producers send misleading information about consumer demand, advances in tech, productivity, or resources, and outside influences such as wars, supply shocks, and panics can all affect the real GDP at any time. Just take the oil shock stagflation of the 1970s, which sent America's economy into a tailspin. Why does this matter? Well, macroeconomics measures these fluctuations and guides policies to keep the economy stable. The government has the responsibility to promote long-term growth, prevent unemployment, which results from a bust, and prevent inflation, which results from a boom. Why is economic growth the goal of every society? Economic growth provides better goods and services, increases wages and standard of living, allows more leisure time, and the economy can better meet the wants and needs of its citizens. One clarification that I like to make is that a recession is a 6-month period of decline in output, income, employment, and trade. If the recession lasts longer or has a much steeper rate of decline, then it can be considered as a depression. For comparison, I would liken a depression to being attacked by a drop bear. Imagine just walking along, minding your own business, when bam, all of a sudden, one of these feisty creatures decides to jump out of a tree, land on your back, and proceed to rip you to pieces. Now, wouldn't that be a real bugger to deal with? Crikey, look at the jaws on that one. The return to full employment and the inflationary period can be compared to a barbecue. Everyone loves a good barbie, because when there's economic growth, citizens have increased wages and can afford more luxury items like cooked dingo and grilled wallaby, which makes for a better barbie. Compare that to having to deal with a pesky drop bear. Oi, there it is again.